Good evening. The time is 7:04, and I call this meeting to order for Monday, September the 10th, 2012, for a regular board meeting, SBCISD. Item number 1, call to order, roll call, and establish quorum. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and recognize our San Benito High School Choir, who will be performing the national anthem. If everyone will please remain standing. Item number 2, Pledge of Allegiance. This evening we do have 2 students from the Gateway Academy who are going to be assisting us. I'd like to recognize Julian Fuentes. He's an 18-year-old junior at Gateway to Graduation Academy. His parents are San Juanita and Eddie Leal. He enjoys playing basketball and his favorite subject is math because he likes using the calculator. Julian hopes to earn his high school diploma and then go on to college. He would like to thank the teachers at the Gateway Academy for helping students be more successful and motivating them to continue their education, despite the many obstacles students at Gateway have faced. We also have Erica Zetino. She's a 23-year-old recent graduate of the Gateway Graduation Academy. She's been through a lot of ups and downs, and she would like to thank her mom, Irian Cavazos, and her dad, Juan Cavazos, because they have been her main supporters through it all. She enjoys writing and photography, and her favorite subjects are reading and writing. She thanks God for allowing her to accomplish her greatest goal of earning her high school diploma, and she gives great thanks to all of the Gateway staff for allowing her the opportunity to finish high school. She says that the staff at Gateway Academy truly have a wonderful gift from the Lord that they share with all of their students. So at this time, I'd like to recognize these 2 students and ask that they continue to assist us this evening.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Please bow our heads. God Almighty, I ask for you to bless our board members today. They have been entrusted to make decisions that will help students, families, and employees. Guide them to discuss and make the right decisions for our community. Remind them that every day they give a special gift to my fellow students. It is the gift of education, the gift of a diploma, and the gift of success. And for that, we thank them. God bless our administrators, students, our staff, and bless our district. Amen. Amen.
You may be seated. I'd like to ask if the parents are in the audience, if you can please stand and be recognized. And Mr. Guerra also for inviting these two fine students to assist. Before we move on to item number 4, special recognition, I would like to go ahead and briefly state that we are observing the September 11th occurrences. It is the 11th year anniversary, and in doing so, I want to go ahead and read the Patriot Day and National Day of Service and Remembrance 2012 by the President of the United States of America, the proclamation. On September 11, 2001, a bright autumn day was darkened by the worst attack on the American people in our history. Thousands of innocent men, women, and children perished when mighty towers collapsed in the heart of New York City, and wreckage burned in Pennsylvania and at the Pentagon. They were family and friends, service members, and first responders, and the tragedy of their loss left pain that will never fade and scars our country will never forget. More than a decade later, the world we live in is forever changed. But as we mark the anniversary of September 11th, we remember what remains the same: our character as a nation, our faith in one another, and our legacy as a country strengthened by service and selflessness. In the spirit that moved rescue workers and firefighters to change into darkness and danger that September morning, we see the same sense of moral responsibility that drove countless Americans to give of themselves in the months that followed. We offered our neighbors a hand and lined up to give blood. Many helped our nation rebuild and recover long after the dust had settled, donating and volunteering and helping survivors who had come born so much. We were united, and the outpouring of generosity reminded us that, through the challenges that have spanned from acts of terrorism to natural disasters, we go forward together as one people. Today, as we remember the victims, their families, and the heroes who stood up during one of the country's darkest moments, I invite all Americans to reclaim that abiding spirit of compassion by serving their communities in the days and weeks ahead. From volunteering with a faith-based organization, to collecting food and clothing for those in need, to preparing care packages for our men and women in uniform, there are many ways to bring service into our everyday lives, and each one of us can do something about it. To get involved and find a local service opportunity, visit www.serve.gov or www.servir.gov for Spanish speakers. Even the simplest act of kindness can be a way to honor those we have lost and to help build stronger communities and a more resilient nation. By joining together on this solemn anniversary, let us show that America's sense of common purpose need not be a fleeting moment, but a lasting virtue, not just on one day, but every day. By a joint resolution approved December 18, 2001, the Congress has designated September 11th of each year as Patriot Day, and by Public Law 111-13, approved April 21st, 2009, the Congress has requested the observance of September 11th as an annually recognized National Day of Service and Remembrance. Now, therefore, Barack Obama, President of the United States of America, hereby proclaims September 11th, 2012 as Patriot Day and National Day of Service and Remembrance. He calls upon all departments, agencies, and instrumentalities of the United States to display the flag of the United States at half-staff on Patriot Day and National Day of Service and Remembrance in honor of the individuals who lost their lives on September 11, 2001. He invites the governors of the United States and the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico and interested organizations and individuals to join in this observance. He calls upon the people of the United States to participate in community service in honor of those our nation lost, to observe the day with appropriate ceremonies and activities, including remembrance services, and to observe a moment of silence beginning at 8:46 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time to honor the innocent victims who perished as a result of the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001. In witness whereof, he has hereunto set his hand this 10th day of September in the year of our Lord 2012 and of the independence of the United States of America and 237. Barack Obama. With that, I'd like to go ahead and move on to item number 4, special recognition. This is a special tribute for the September 11th year anniversary by the San Benito High School Choir under the direction of Mr. Ted Lyra and Ana Garcia, and they will be performing America the Beautiful and Who Are the Brave.
that we're about to perform.
Thank you to the San Benito High School Choir. They did a fantastic job with their performances. And thank you to those who assisted, Mr. Ted Thyra and Ana Garcia. Thank you.
I would also like to ask that we have a moment of silence for the loss of Ms. Tamayo, a beloved teacher from Ed Downs Elementary. She served 31 years in our district. She made a great impact on many students and will greatly be missed. So we can go ahead and bow our heads and take just a moment. Thank you.
Moving on to item number 5, roll call. Ms. Ana Cruz, Vice President. Present. Ms. June Aguilera, Secretary.
Present.
Ms. Fatima Huerta, Trustee.
Present.
Mr. Julian Huerta, Trustee.
Present.
Mr. Hector G. Leal, Trustee. Mr. Oscar Medrano, Trustee.
Present.
Mr. Antonio G. Limon, Superintendent of Schools.
Present.
Mr. Juan Cabrera, Attorney.
Present.
Item number 6, recommend approving the agenda of the regular board meeting of September 10th, 2012 with any corrections or deletions. And on item number 7, I do want to make note that at the request of the board, we are going to pull item number 7, request for approval to place public comment after executive session. So at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the agenda with corrections or deletions. Motion made by Ms. Huerta, seconded by Ms. Aguilera and Ms. Cruz. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, Superintendent's Report. Mr. Limon?
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, the superintendent's report, the overnight trips that have been scheduled, San Benito High School Boys and Girls Cross Country, McNeil Invitational. This is a preview to the state meet course in Round Rock, October the 5th through October the 6th, 2012. Also have the Technology Lending Program Grant for $123,375. There was an item in your board book, I'll read very briefly from it. It says, I'm pleased to announce that San Benito CISD has received the Technology Lending Program Grant for $123,375. This is a one-year grant for the purpose of purchasing lending technology for every student in the 5th grade at Sullivan Elementary. So again, congratulations to Ms. Sanchez, Mr. Smetters, for their hard work in bringing in grants. For those of you that are not familiar, Ms. Sanchez and her staff have been responsible for bringing in over $50 million worth of grant into this district, and that's something to be commended. Where would this district be without those $50 million that have been put into the economy over the last 6 or 7 years? Thank you, ma'am, for your hard work. Also, we also have disbursements by organization, and have San Benito CISD investment report from September the 1st, 2011 to August 31st, 2012. That concludes the superintendent's report. Would answer questions that any of the board members may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Limon. Being that there are no questions, we're going to go ahead and move on to item number 9, public comment. And we have no one from the audience that has signed up for public comment. Item number 10, school construction report. Mr. Ramon?
Good evening. The Frank Roberts and Landrum project was approved as substantially completed on August the 10th. The contractors are still working on the punch list. The architect has tentatively scheduled September the 21st to come in and check and make sure that all those items have been finished. You have 2 items that are under action for final completion of the HVAC improvements at Riverside as well as Miller. All of those have been completed. At Frank Roberts and La Paloma, we were under the gun to try to get those projects finished. I want to thank the administration and the staff of those campuses for whatever inconveniences we put them through while we were waiting for those projects. As I reported to you last time, The manufacturers send us that equipment late, and therefore they were on the rush to do that. At Frank Roberts on the 26th, if you keep in mind that August the 27th, that's when we start classes. On the 26th, was on a Sunday at 8:30, they had all the air conditioners going except administration. There was a problem with one of the compressors. Administration was not fully operable until Thursday of that week. At La Paloma, the Wing 200 they started that system on the 24th of August, but today they started using Wing 100. We were allowed 2 weeks in order to try to finish that project. There's still a lot of things that needs to be done, but this morning they started using those classrooms, and everything seems to be working okay. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Ramon. We're going to go ahead and move on to item number 11, action agenda. In order to promote efficient meetings, the board may act upon more than one item by a single vote through the use of consent agenda. Consent items placed on the agenda shall be marked with an asterisk. Consent items are items for which no board discussion is anticipated and for which the superintendent recommends approval. Prior to the time which approval of consent agenda is had at the request of any member of the Board of Trustees, any item on the consent agenda shall be removed and given individual consideration. Under Business and Finance, we have item 1209A-1, request for approval of proposal on stop-loss insurance.
Question.
Question by Ms. Aguilera. Item 1209A-2, request for approval of acceptance of the final completion of the HVAC improvement project for the Riverside Middle School Gymnasium. Consent. 1209A-3, request for approval of acceptance of the final completion of the HVAC improvement project for the Miller Jordan Middle School Fieldhouse. Consent. 1209A-4, request for approval of 2011-2012 budget amendments. Consent. 1209A-5, request for approval of budget transfers. Consent. Under Curriculum and Instruction, 1209A-6, request for approval of advanced courses identified for UIL, no pass, no play exemption.
I have a question, I just want to know what it is.
Question by Ms. Aguilera. Item 1209A-7, request for approval of the Region 1 Library Services and Media Cooperative Commitment for the 2012-2013 school year. Consent. Under Administration, item 1209A-8, request for approval of board minutes. Consent. 1209A-9, request for approval of the San Benito CISD teacher appraisal calendar for the 2012-2013 school year. Consent. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve items 1209A-2, 1209A-3, 1209A-4, 1209A-5, 1209A-7, 1209A-8, and 1209A-9.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Medrano, seconded by Ms. Aguilera. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. We had a question on item 1209A-1, request for approval of proposal on stop-loss insurance.
I have a question. I was reviewing it, and at the bottom it says, IMG employee benefits are being in the best interest of the school district. My question was, for the best interest of the district, I had a question as to why we would go out with one with a 10%.
With the 10% commission, it is to my knowledge that we would have a savings without an agent. We would have a savings of $104,000. And I wanted to ask, our consultant, as far as this, do we have to have an agent for this type of plan? Because $104,000 of savings at a 10% commission, that would be just money being given into somebody else's pocket and out of our funds. And I mean, we don't have a lot to begin with.
No, you don't have to do that. We've talked about going to bid without an agent before. And so
Your current staff can handle it, and if they need assistance, I can help them with that. It's not a problem. And you're exactly right. I mean, it's $100,000 that can go right to your bottom line and be allocated wherever you want it to be allocated.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know if the rest of the board agrees, but if that's money that we can be saving, I don't see why we would go out with a 10% commission and have an agent if our staff can handle it here in-house and we save that amount of money, you know. And so, I mean, I was looking at it and I did that math, and, you know, I mean, it's a savings, and whatever savings counts, so.
What have we been doing in the past?
For the past 12 to 15 years, this is the way it's always been bid. There was 2 bids that came in, Ms. Aguilera. If you notice, MBA was $1,794,000 without an agent, and ING was $1,043,000 with an agent. So the MBA bid was almost almost $800,000 more without an agent, while the ING bid was at $1,043,000, which was the same what we paid last time. Now, we bid this the same way we have always done it. You know, this is the situation, this is a stop loss for any, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Hillier, for anything over $100,000, this policy would kick in.
That's correct.
And this policy kicks in and covers the loss after that. The district covers the first $100,000.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, again, Mr. Cabrera, if you can help me out on this, since this was bid with an agent, and it clearly says there in Exhibit A4 that the commission for the agent is 10%, since this was the way it came in, can it be changed at this time or not?
No, we get clarification from Mr. Garcia. I don't believe you can change it at this time if it hadn't been bid that way.
If the board directors, we can go back and ask ING if you need it.
Yes.
Anything that is favorable to the school district, we can do.
I think if we go back and ask.
We just can't change it here. Yeah, we'd have to go back and then bring it to another board meeting.
Or if they give us a director right now, we could.
Investigate it.
When does this policy take place, Mr. Garcia?
It starts October 1st.
So October 1st. So if we don't approve this policy before October 1st, we're going to be left without a stop loss. Okay.
But we can hold another meeting before that time.
Okay.
I mean, if the board is in agreement to take time out of our schedule, which is simple, to save $104,000 for the district, I think that it's able to be done.
Okay. Let me just caution the board, and the board can do what they feel is best, but for the last 12 years or so, it's been done this way because the people that are responsible are the agents that do this. Now, if we take added responsibility, Mr. Hilliard seems to think I have the staff that can handle this and can do this. Who would do this for me, Mr. Hilliard?
Well, I could assist if necessary, and if you didn't want me to do it, then we could have Lucy do it. It's really not that hard. It's just filing claims.
So if
Very
it's not,
simple.
if it's not that hard for filing claims, why for the last 12 to 15 years have we done it this way?
That's my question.
I mean, that's been your choice to do it. Pardon me?
Who's been doing the claims?
Janie does those and files them directly with the stop-loss carrier.
So the agent doesn't do the claim?
No, they don't have
The agent
any.
does the claims and send it up.
That's
How much
correct.
work does the agent actually do?
To my knowledge, they don't do anything on the stop-loss at all as far as the day-to-day operations and filing claims.
So they're claiming over $100,000 for doing absolutely nothing?
Pretty much.
I find that hard to believe. Is the agent here at all? Anybody representing ING? No, I don't know. ING, anybody representing?
Who's the agent?
The agent, we don't know who this agent is, but the agent in the
Yeah.
past has been Bob Trevino for ING. So I'm
Right.
assuming it would probably be
Yeah, it should
Bob
be.
Trevino again.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what I've been told is that the agent is the one that does the work, you know? I'm getting conflicting
Right.
reports here. The agent are telling me that they do the work, they're responsible for this. If anything goes wrong, they're held liable for if something goes wrong. By taking that away, now that responsibility falls on the district. Or did the agent ever have any liability?
Well, anytime you accept commission on a product, you have liability, but that doesn't absolve the district from their liability. But the simple fact of the matter is, and I've worked with this district for, almost 15 years on and off in different capacities, and the administration, Janie Gonzalez, always filed the claims on the stop loss. It's that simple. I mean, there's just no other way to answer the question. And I think what you're seeing is a trend. I mean, you did it one way, you did it, you know, and you're talking about, you know, another way to do it, and this is another way to do it. And Brownsville ISD just did this with their agent. Harlingen ISD doesn't have an agent on the stop loss. Probably 85% of the school districts, because they're all facing the same budget issues, are going without agents on these things because it's not that hard to do.
Okay. I guess my next question is, do we have time to rebid this before October 1st and rebid it without an agent? Would we have to do that, Mr. Garcia, or not?
We can request from ING to delete.
Yes.
And delete and remove the agent.
Okay. Then we would require another board meeting to approve it. Or can the board approve it now with the condition that the agent be deleted?
You can do that also.
Yes.
I would like to make the motion that we, you know, go with ING without the agent and without the office of the commission.
Okay, I
I
have a
think
motion.
before, I just want to make, I mean, I agree with Mr. Limon. We need to be very careful, you know, because I'd like to maybe get some more research. If we'd like, you know, we could get some more research on it. If there's more districts, how they're doing it, because I would hate for the district to be liable in case we have, you know, an issue with the insurance. We want to make sure that the insurance agent's taking care of these claims the way they should be. I mean, I think to put it, no, I'm just saying, I think it's a good point, but to put it on our staff.
But it's already been on our staff, technically.
James been doing it the whole time, so why
Right,
are we gonna
but
get an
at
agent
the
to pay for
moment,
nothing?
I'm just saying at the moment, I just feel that perhaps we should, you know, move cautiously, because I would hate for us to
But
be
you
liable. That's just my opinion.
It's
Ms.
like
Aguilar.
the time, it's
Just saying.
October 1st, you know, this is, I mean, the savings are right in front of you, and if we're trying to save for this.
No, and I agree with your point. I mean, if there's savings, fine, but I'm just saying that in the past, you know, the agent is, at the end of the day, the agent is responsible for that particular, you know, any type of liability, you know, and if now we're turning over the liability to us, I think we need to be careful with that.
Well, my motion will still stand, so if I have a second.
No, you have a motion on the floor, and I
I do.
accept it. I just wanted.
I do have a motion. I'm going to go ahead and honor her motion to request for approval of proposal on stop loss insurance with the condition that we delete, or that we speak to ING and delete the agent.
Right, and if he does approve, if the school district demands that it be deleted, we just go ahead and sign the contract.
Right. Okay, so we have a motion by Ms. Aguilera.
I'd like to, real quick.
And we do have a second. We do have a second from
I know,
Mr.
but there's
Huerta, so
still-
we have to vote on it.
No, there can still be discussion in the motion, Madam Chair. I'd like to get the responsibilities exactly what they are, because I'm just concerned, you know, we're gonna pass this, but, you know, I'm just concerned with what are the exact responsibilities that the agent would entail here. If they delete it, let's say at the moment we delete it, right? Or ING agrees to delete it, then what is the responsibilities that we're gonna intake? Because, you know, we don't know that right now. We're just assuming that it's just filing the claims and so forth. Yeah, it seems easy to me. I mean, it seems easy, but we need to make sure what are the exact responsibilities that our staff is gonna entail.
Do we have a lot of claims generally under the stop loss, Mr. Garcia, or Mr. Hilliard? What is the average?
It's about 10 claims a year, roughly. Sometimes 8 or 9, but it's.
For the entire school year?
I mean,
I
the
think it was
thing
13,
is.
it was 13 this year, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it varies, you know, depending year to year, but, you know, the bottom line is you're still liable for it if there's an issue. You still have to go after them to try to collect the money. ING does a great job. I've never seen that with them in the past, so I think your liability on this is extremely limited. And I don't think having an agent involved helps your liability situation anyway. It just flat adds cost. And, you know, I'm not a lawyer, but I've been doing this for 25 years.
Right, we know you're not a lawyer, Mr. Hilliard, and we never said you were a lawyer
Good.
by any means. I was just making this statement because, you know, there are responsibilities that come here when it comes to insurance claims and so forth.
Sure.
You know, and you're just a consultant here, so I want to make sure that, you know, we know exactly what we're getting ourselves into before we vote. I mean, we've done it before this way, and the bid came out this way, and now, I mean, this was discussed, This was discussed in Finance Committee, and somehow the Finance Committee sent it over to the board, and were you at the Finance Committee, Ms. Aguilera?
I was at work.
You were at work, okay. So I'm just saying that, We just need to move cautiously because, you know, there are some liability issues that I'm concerned about, you know.
I was concerned about why it wasn't brought up at the committee meeting because of the fact that if you're gonna see there's $104,000 savings, why wasn't it?
Yeah.
In the first place, at that meeting, why was it passed here and not discussed then that it shouldn't have been passed?
Right.
You know, and my thing is that those are savings that we could be doing instead of putting money in our agent's pocket, keep it into our district.
No, and I agree. I agree with you, Mr. Garcia. When this bid came in, the bid came in with a 10% fee. Is that correct?
Basically, we have a question here. And what we did on this bid agenda package, we included the answers to the question. And it says.
And you're recommending, you recommended ING this bid the way it is right now, the way it is presented. That's what you're recommending. Is that correct?
I have a question.
But if the board directs me to ask, at the directive of the board, to delete the agent, ING says it's okay, we can do it. I think another school district has already done this.
So we could literally vote on it and then go back and see if we can negotiate some type of a fee. See, I would rather do that, Ms. Aguilera. I would rather.
I have questioned it before in the past because when I first heard about the stop loss insurance, I had talked to Mr. Limon and I had asked him as to why we were going out without the commission. I mean, with the commission.
Could you turn on your mic, please? Thank you.
I talk pretty loud, but.
Because nobody can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, I had questioned it before to Mr. Limon when we had a meeting and I had saw it and I had asked him, you know, why we were going out with commission. And he gave me the same answer that he said tonight because of the fact that we've always done it like that for years. But the years are, I mean, yes, what we did in the past doesn't mean always that we have to do it in the future. And the fact of the matter is that if you all had money, I guess, because the money basically was being thrown away, to do that, we don't have it now. And that's the reason that I'm suggesting that we do it. And my motion, like I said, still stands.
No, your motion.
So we can call for questions and then.
But anytime you have a motion, they're still open, it's still open for discussion.
But if I call for question, if I call for question, it automatically stops and then we just
No, it
vote.
doesn't. No, it doesn't. We can still discuss it. They're still open for discussion, even though you already made a motion on the floor. And I'm just asking a few questions, that's all.
Well, I
You know,
don't
I
saying it's
understand.
gonna stay
Now,
that way.
my question on this particular bid, Mr. Cabrera, is, this is the way the bid came in. Doesn't this change the bid now? Or what are we saying here? Because are we gonna go back and we're gonna have to meet again? Or are we gonna open bids again, or?
No, you can always go back and negotiate with who you selected to be the lowest bidder, in this case, the one that qualified, and go back and negotiate with him, like in this instance, with your approval, conditioned upon his ability to go back and remove the agent fee. You could give him that conditional approval.
I'd like that. I would rather ask you, Ms. Aguilera, to consider amending your motion that we renegotiate the fee, and I think that would be.
Why are you gonna pay, Mr. Healy said we can do it.
Okay, but we don't know. We don't know the responsibilities, Mr. Huerta. That's what's my concern is, that at the end of the day, I would hate to put our district in a liability situation when it comes to insurance. I'm sorry. I just, that's the way I feel.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes, sir.
Is there any, since this may involve litigation, is there any way that this can be tabled? We can talk about an executive session and the board can come back out and vote, or not?
Are you saying litigation in the event that we wouldn't have backup coverage?
Litigation in general over,
Well, there wouldn't be.
over something that could go wrong here? In other words, I'm asking your advice as an attorney, if we could go into executive session and discuss it with you, and then come back out and vote on it?
I don't think this is an appropriate item for executive session. I think we could probably handle it here, and then we could, I can understand your concern, but I don't think that it would be appropriate, only because I don't see litigation potential here. Because another thing that could happen here, and Mr. Garcia, Glenn can talk about that as well, is even though the contract is expiring here in October, there's always ways to continue a contract if you need to on an interim basis. I mean, that's obviously not our objective, but I don't, you know, there's other alternatives to solve the problem if we can't solve it here today. But I think a conditional approval, giving the authority to Mr. Garcia to go back and renegotiate a fee or eliminate a fee would be appropriate.
Do y'all believe that it would affect if we did that, if we asked them to take off the agent? Do you think it would affect the district or affect our,
employees, sorry.
If the district makes a directive to ING to remove the agent, they say it's okay, I don't see a problem, it's favorable to the school district.
Have you ever had any problems trying to get a claim from ING?
No. Supposedly, according to the ex-risk manager, she was very, very happy working with ING. They were very prompt in paying all claims, and she's the one that had to do the claims.
Yeah, that's why, another reason I feel comfortable with this is because they do a good job, and there's just not any issues. And like I said, I can bring your staff up to speed if necessary. They can use me as a resource if necessary. I'm not trying to put myself in that position, but you have resources to help, and it just, the liability just isn't there on this stuff.
Who are the resources that you're talking about, Mr. Hill?
Well, first of all, I mean, Emma's got some experience in this, and Lucy is already familiar with it. It's not like it's an unfamiliar subject that all of a sudden is going to be thrown on you. So I would just have to give Lucy a few tips on stuff, or if she had a few questions. But in general, there would be very little questions on this. It's a very simple process.
But they're not insurance agents, right?
They don't have to be insurance agents.
I'm just saying, I'm just asking the question.
No, but I mean, you know, they handle your comp program, and they're not insurance agents on comp either. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff they do. They handle questions on voluntary plans, and they're not agents. So, you know, you just don't transfer your liability on something, and there's really not much liability on this anyway.
I think it's a good idea to look into renegotiating the fee. I think it is.
Well, I think my motion is still on the floor, and my motion still stands.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Repeat your motion, please, for the record.
Let me just ask Emma. Emma, can you handle this?
As far as the claims, I don't think it's a difficult thing. I've never done them, but, you know, like Mr. Hillier said, you know, if we have some direction, I think, you know, either Lucy or myself could probably take care of it.
So, okay, well, my motion was to request the approval of the proposal on stop-loss insurance with condition to remove the agent.
A second.
I have a motion to request for approval of proposal on stop-loss insurance with the condition that we remove the agent, made by Ms. Aguilera and seconded by Mr. Huerta. All those in favor with the show of hands?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Hillier and Mr. Garcia. We also had another question on item 1209A-6, request for approval of advanced courses identified for UIL, no pass, no play exemption under curriculum and instruction.
Celeste, that's your, so I just wanted enlightenment as to what exactly is going on there.
UIL requires us to have on file with them all of the courses that we have identified as advanced courses, and thus they're eligible for the no pass, no play exemption, so that if a student scores less than a 70 on one of those courses that we've identified as advanced courses, they are still eligible to play.
If they don't, even if they don't meet the...
If they score less than a 70,
okay,
like they get a 65 on the, if they get a 65 on a regular course, then they cannot participate in a UIL sport because of the no pass, no play rule. But if we identify courses as advanced courses, those are exempt from the rule.
Okay, I just wanted to see as far as, okay, then that's fine.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Medrano, seconded by Mr. Huerta, to approve the request for approval of advanced courses identified for UIL no pass, no play exemption. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item number 12, closed meeting, discussion under the authority of the Texas Government Code 551.071 for the purpose of a private consultation with the board's attorney on any or all subjects or matters authorized by law. A. R. Atkinson lawsuit cause number 2008-08-003278. 551.074 for the purpose of the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, to hear complaints or charges against a public officer or employee. A, discussion of employment, termination, proposed termination, non-renewal, proposed non-renewal, resignation, suspension, discipline, retirement, duties, and evaluation of contract and at-will employees, and changes or complaints against employees. The time is now 7:52 and we are in executive. The time is now 9:12 and we are returning from executive. Item number 13. We have no action on any items. Item number 13, adjournment.
Before, I want to wish the San Benito Greyhounds all the best of luck. And
Yes.
we were the Battle of the Arroyo champions, so congratulations to our mighty Greyhounds, and I know we're going to recognize them soon, right?
Yes, congratulations to our Battle of the Arroyo champions, our San Benito Mighty Greyhounds. We will be recognizing them in probably at the end of the season. And we also want to wish them luck as they take on the McAllen Mustangs this Thursday.
And our Greyhound band too.
Commissioner Medrano, do you want to announce the dates for the band so that we?
Yes, we do have. I do like to invite the community out on behalf of Mr. Perez. I know he's not here right now. October the 6th is pre-Pigskin. October the 13th is Pigskin Jubilee at Bobby Morrow Stadium. And then October the 20th will be our area competition. And I believe that's going to be in Laredo, Texas. So good luck to our Greyhound Marching Band.
Okay, good luck to all our students, and we are now adjourned at 9:13.